Millionaire pretends to be a homeless man at his company and is shocked by who helps him. Richard Anderson straightened his Italian tie in front of the floor-to-ceiling mirror in his office on the 28th floor. Down below, the city looked like an anthill. Tiny people scurrying back and forth, just like the employees at Anderson Industries. Small, replaceable, invisible. "Dad, sign here." Melissa barged in without knocking, tossing a folder onto the mahogany desk. Her heels clicked like hammers. "These are the layoffs from the janitorial staff. We're outsourcing. It'll save 40% on payroll." Richard picked up the pen. 43 names. 43 families. He signed without reading. "Melissa, about those harassment reports. I handled it." She examined her perfect nails. "Weak employees whining about tough management. I had HR file them away. Oh, and I fired the ones who filed the complaints. Sets an example, right? Don't you think we should investigate?" Melissa laughed. A dry, metallic sound. "Dad, did you build this empire by being nice? No, you did it by being tough. Ruthless. Now you want to play the caring dad." She leaned over the desk. "You wouldn't last a day being treated the way we treat them down there. You have no idea what goes on in the lower floors." Her words echoed after she left. That night, Richard couldn't sleep. At 3 a.m, he got up and went to his home office. He opened his laptop and, for the first time in 20 years, read the real internal reports. Not the executive summaries. The originals. "Supervisor called me a worthless cow in front of everyone. My son was born premature. I asked for 2 days off, and they threatened to fire me. I work 12 hours a day, but if I'm 5 minutes late, they double the deduction from my paycheck." Page after page. Hundreds of accounts. All filed away. All ignored. At 5 a.m., Richard made a decision. "You're crazy, sir?" Gerald, his driver of 15 years, nearly crashed the car. "Pretending to be homeless? Mr. Richard, that's dangerous." "It's necessary, Gerald. I need to see it with my own eyes." Richard looked out the window. "My daughter challenged me. She said I don't know how my company really works. And you're going to prove her wrong by disguising yourself as a homeless guy? I'm going to prove she's right, and then I'm going to fix it." It took 2 weeks to prepare. He hired a theater makeup specialist, let his beard grow, bought clothes from a thrift store, torn pants, stained shirt, dirty coat. He practiced shuffling his walk, slurring his speech. The night before, he looked in the mirror. He didn't recognize the man staring back. Monday, 6:15 a.m., Richard shuffled to the main entrance of Anderson Industries. He held an empty styrofoam cup. He'd spent the night in a cheap motel to make it convincing. He hadn't slept. The smell of mold and cigarette smoke clung to his skin. Hey, you!" Clyde, the security guard, advanced. Richard knew him. He'd worked there 8 years. He always greeted executives with a big smile. Now his face was a mask of disgust. "Get out of here. This is a company for working people, not bums. Please." Richard extended a trembling hand. "I just want a little." "You deaf?" Clyde shoved him. Richard stumbled. "Beat it before I call the cops. I'm hungry, that's all." "Maurice," Clyde yelled to another guard. "Come help me toss this creep out." The two grabbed him by the arms. Richard felt the brute force, the casual violence. He was dragged to the sidewalk. Maurice grabbed a water bottle and dumped it on him. "Show your face again, and we'll break you. Got it?" Filth. Soaked, humiliated, Richard huddled against the wall. His heart pounded. These men worked for him, were paid by him, and they treated him like trash. At 7:30 a.m., employees started arriving. Patricia, the receptionist, walked past him on her phone. She stopped, took a photo. "Guys, look at this gross guy at the company door." She laughed, fingers flying over the keyboard, posting it to the group chat. What a horror! A group of executives passed. Richard recognized Frank, the sales manager. He'd just gotten a $100,000 bonus. Frank looked at Richard and spat on the ground. "Get a job, leech. Stop being a bum." The others laughed. And in turn, no older than 20, veered away like Richard had the plague. Disgusting. Why don't they arrest these people? 30. Melissa's red convertible pulled up to the building. She stepped out, sunglasses on, sky-high heels. She passed within a foot of Richard. Didn't even glance. She was on the phone. Yeah, I want all the numbers by noon. If accounting doesn't deliver, fire 3 of them. Randomly. To teach them there's no slacking here. She went inside. Richard sat there, invisible. The hours dragged like centuries. The sun beat down. Richard was thirsty. Hungry. He wanted to leave. Take a shower. Forget it all. But he couldn't. He had to see. 12:40. A woman came out the service door. Blue janitor uniform. Carrying a worn plastic bag and a lunchbox. Mary Gonzalez was 47 but looked older. Calloused hands. Hair in a bun. Tired face but kind eyes. She saw Richard. And stopped. Just stopped and looked. Not with disgust. Not with fear. With concern. Are you okay? Mary approached, crouched down. You hungry? Richard, still in character, mumbled. I haven't eaten since yesterday. Without hesitating, Mary opened her lunchbox. Rice, beans, 2 small pieces of chicken. She looked, calculated, divided it in half with her spoon. It ain't much, but it's made with care. She handed him the lunchbox. Eat up. Go on. But what about you? I'll eat the other half. We'll share. Mary smiled. A tired, but genuine smile. My mom always said shared food feeds more. I think it does. Feeds the body and the soul, you know? Richard took the lunchbox with trembling hands. Not from hunger, from emotion. Mary sat beside him on the dirty sidewalk. Opened the other half and started eating. I know how tough it is, she said between bites. I've been there. My husband died 8 years ago. Motorcycle accident. Left me with 3 little kids. Pedro was 8, Ana 6, Miguel just 1. She wiped her eyes. There were days we ate nothing but bread with sugar. Days I skipped meals so they could eat. How did you make it? Hard work. And good folks who showed up along the way. Mary looked at the sky. God never abandons those with faith, you know? He always sends an angel. Sometimes the angel looks like a neighbor sharing food. Sometimes like a boss giving a job. Sometimes, she looked at Richard, like someone needing help to remind us to be grateful. They ate in silence. Cars passed. People passed. No one else looked. When she finished, Mary took a napkin, wrapped $3 bills inside, and placed it in Richard's hand. For you to buy a hot coffee later. It's getting cold out. I can't take this. You can. She closed his hand over the bills. I don't make much, but I still make something. You need it more. Mary stood, straightened her uniform. From her pocket, she pulled a scrap of paper. It had a handwritten note in neat script. God never abandons those with faith. You'll get through this. I learned to write late. She explained, a bit embarrassed. Didn't get literate till I was 30, but now I jot down everything beautiful that helps me. Quotes like this. She placed the paper in his hand. This one helped me. Hope it helps you too. She went back inside. Richard sat there, holding those $3 and that scrap of paper. He cried. For the first time in 20 years, Richard Anderson cried. And you? If you were a billionaire and found out the only person with compassion in your company is the one earning minimum wage, would you have the guts to look in the mirror after that? Richard came back Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday. Each day revealed a new layer of horror. Tuesday, 9 a.m. He witnessed Melissa humiliating an administrative assistant in the hallway. The young woman, Carol, was 23. She was shaking. Are you stupid or just pretending? Melissa yelled. I asked for the report in PDF. You sent it in Word. What part of PDF didn't you get? Sorry, I thought. You're not paid to think. You're paid to obey. Melissa threw the papers on the floor. Pick them up. With your mouth. What? You heard me. Pick them up with your mouth. Like a dog. So you learn. Carol, in tears, bent down. People passed by. No one said a word. Richard, disguised nearby, felt bile rising. Wednesday. Bernard, Melissa's fiancé, the CFO. A 40-year-old with a gym-built body and a shark smile. Richard saw him talking to Luke, a junior analyst. Bernard, please. It's my son's birthday. You promised I could leave early today. Promised? Bernard laughed. Don't remember that. Anyway, I changed my mind. I need those numbers by midnight. But I bought the cake, invited the kids. And I care. Bernard leaned in, menacing. I call the shots here. Family's your problem. Work's mine. If you don't deliver, you're job hunting tomorrow. Your choice. Luke hung his head. I'll stay. Good. Oh, and Luke. Bernard smiled. Text your kid. Tell him Daddy loves his job more than him. Thursday night. Richard saw Mary leaving, feet dragging. She looked even more exhausted. Mr. Anthony. She smiled when she saw him. She'd started calling him that after he made up the name. Thought I wouldn't see you today. She sat beside him, pulled a thermos from her bag. Coffee. Made it at home. Still hot. Mary, you don't have to. I know I don't have to. I want to. She poured it into a plastic cup. You know, Mr. Anthony, talking to you has helped me. Reminds me to be grateful. I might not have much, but I have more than a lot of folks. How are your kids? Her face lit up. Pedro's doing great in school. Wants to study computer science in college. Says he'll be a programmer, make good money, get me out of janitorial work. She laughed. I tell him there's no shame in honest work like cleaning. And the others? Anna's top of her class. Smart as can be. Miguel. She sighed. Miguel has asthma. Bad asthma. Some days he can't even go to school. The meds are expensive. Real expensive. Doesn't the company health plan cover it? Mary gave a bitter chuckle. Health plan? Mr. Anthony, folks like me don't get full benefits. We get the basics, minimum wage, 2 weeks PTO, maybe a small bonus if we're lucky. No comprehensive insurance for part-timers like janitors. Richard felt rage boiling. His company raked in billions. Billions. And this woman, who'd worked 12 years, had no decent health coverage for her son's asthma. Mary, didn't you ever want to complain? Ask for better. She went quiet. Complain to who, Mr. Anthony? I'm invisible here. Nobody even knows my full name. The supervisor calls me the cleaner. The supervisor? Vivian. Mary grimaced. She doesn't like me. Why? Because I pray. Because I read my Bible on breaks. Because I don't join in the gossip. Mary sighed. She calls me a pushy believer. Last week, she told me to stop singing while cleaning because hymns are annoying. Does she treat you badly? Yeah. Mary looked at her calloused hands. Last month, she accused me of stealing cleaning supplies. Disinfectant. Told HR I hid a bottle in my bag. Was it true? Mary met his eyes. Mr. Anthony, I may be poor, but I'm no thief. Never stole a thing in my life. Not even a paperclip. What happened? She had no proof, but it's on record. Suspected theft. Now she's building a file against me. Last week, she took a photo of an area I cleaned and said it was dirty. It was a lie, but she showed it to the manager. Mary wiped a tear. I know she wants me fired, and I can't lose this job. I just can't. Why not go to HR? Report it. Report it. Mary laughed without joy. Mr. Anthony, HR here answers to the owner's daughter. The owner's daughter. She won't listen to a janitor complaining about a supervisor. She'd fire me faster. She finished her coffee and stood. But I don't give up. I pray for Vivian. Pray her heart softens. Pray God gives me strength. She touched Richard's shoulder. And you? You praying? Asking for strength. Richard didn't know what to say. Pray, Mr. Anthony. Talk to God. Even if you don't think he exists. Try it. Sometimes he answers in ways you don't expect. Friday, 8:30 a.m. Richard was in his usual spot when he saw something that froze his blood. Vivian, the supervisor. A woman in her 50s, skinny, hard-faced. She was talking to two security guards. She hides stuff in her locker, I'm sure. Today we're search. NG. Richard edged closer, pretending to rummage in the trash. But Vivian, you sure? One guard seemed hesitant. Mary's been here for years. So what? Poor folks are all the same. They steal when they can. Vivian crossed her arms. She's one of those believers, acts all holy. I hate people like that. Self-righteous. Fake. What do you want us to find? Anything works. Cleaning supplies, office stuff, whatever. If there's nothing, plant it. She smiled. A cruel smile. I need that spot for my friend's niece. Mary's just taking up space. The guards exchanged looks. Vivian, that's framing someone. You want to keep your jobs? She stared them down. Then do what I'm telling you. Simple. They hung their heads. Richard felt the world spin. 12:15 p.m. Mary came out for her break. She was smiling. No idea what awaited her. Mr. Anthony, she waved. Brought pudding today. My neighbor gave it to me, homemade. Wanna share? Before Richard could answer, Vivian appeared. Two guards. And Melissa. Mary Gonzalez? Vivian's eyes gleamed with pleasure. I need you to come with me. Now. What is it? Theft accusation. You're opening your locker. Mary's face went pale. Again? I didn't steal anything. That's what we'll find out. Melissa stood there watching. Cold. Calculating. She saw Richard in disguise but didn't recognize him. Just averted her eyes, as if a homeless man didn't deserve her glance. Mary was led away. She looked back at Richard, tried to smile. He saw fear in her eyes. Richard followed discreetly. In HR, Mary was forced to open her locker. Inside, among her uniform and belongings, were 4 bottles of disinfectant. I didn't put that there, Mary screamed. Someone planted it. I swear. Sure. Vivian rolled her eyes. Same old excuse. Melissa flipped through a folder. Mary Gonzalez, you have a prior suspected theft on your record. Now that's termination for cause. And we'll press criminal charges. No! Mary dropped to her knees. Please. I have 3 kids. I need this job. I didn't steal. I swear on God I didn't steal. People like you swear on God and lie in the same breath. Melissa closed the folder. Security, remove this woman. Immediately. 2 men lifted her by the arms. Mary sobbed, begged, screamed her innocence. Richard watched from afar. Saw the woman who'd shared her food with him being humiliated. Saw the woman who'd given him hope being destroyed. Saw the only good person in that place being thrown out like trash. And something inside him broke. How much is a person's dignity worth? And if someone falsely accused you, wrecked your life out of pure malice, would justice ever make it right? Mary was escorted to the exit by security. She looked like a criminal. Employees stopped to watch, whispered, snapped photos. Look, they caught the janitor stealing. I always suspected. That's why we can't trust these poor folks. She crossed the lobby in tears. Her body shook. 12 years of honest work. 12 years of waking at 4 a.m., 12 years of dignity. Destroyed in 15 minutes. As she passed through the revolving door, Mary saw Mr. Anthony watching from afar. Even in her deepest despair, even as the world crumbled, she tried to smile at him. A broken smile, but a smile. As if saying, it'll be okay. God's got this. That smile set everything off. Richard yanked off his beanie, pulled off the fake beard, straightened his posture. Stop immediately. His voice boomed through the lobby. Powerful, authoritative. 200 people froze. Melissa, heading back to the elevator, turned. Went pale. Dad. The guards released Mary. Clyde, the one who doused him with water, started shaking. Patricia, the receptionist, quickly shut off her phone. Richard strode to the center of the lobby. Each step echoed. The silence was tomb-like. My name is Richard Anderson. I'm the owner of this company. His voice was controlled, but rage simmered beneath. And for the last 5 days, I've been among you, disguised as a homeless man. Murmurs erupted, people eyeing each other terrified. I want every employee in the main auditorium. Now, executives, managers, assistants, guards, janitors, everyone. He looked at Melissa, especially the executives. Melissa was white as a sheet. Richard walked to Mary, who was in shock, not understanding. Mary, he took her hand. Come with me. But I don't get it. You are. I'm your Mr. Anthony, and I'm also the owner of this company. He squeezed her hand. And you're not getting fired. You're getting promoted. 20 minutes later, 300 people packed the auditorium. There'd never been a company-wide meeting like this. Rumors flew. The CEO's lost it? He was disguised as a homeless guy? Someone's getting canned. Richard took the stage. Mary sat in the front row, still confused. Melissa and Bernard were in the back, pale. Did you see a homeless man at the company entrance this week? Richard began. That dirty, ragged guy begging for change? Some nodded. That homeless man was me. Shock exploded. Gasped. Disbelief. I wanted to see how my company really works. How you treat people. How you act when you think no one's important is watching. He scanned the crowd. And what I found disgusted me. Richard recounted it all. Every humiliation. Every cruelty. Every moment. Clyde. He pointed. You, who's worked here 8 years. You threw me to the ground. Doused me with water. Threatened me. Clyde sank in his seat. Patricia, you photographed me to mock on social media. A man you thought was homeless. For laughs. Patricia started crying. Frank, you spat near me. Called a human being a leech. Frank tried to stand. Mr. Richard, I didn't know. Exactly, Richard roared. You didn't know who I was, so you thought you could treat me like trash. If you'd known I was the CEO, you'd have hugged me, brought coffee, kissed my shoes. Dead silence. Vivian, he spotted her. She shrank. You framed Mary, planted supplies in her locker, made up charges. All because she's religious and you don't like it. I don't deny it. I heard you plotting with the guards. Vivian crumbled. Richard took a deep breath. Bernard, my future son-in-law. He looked at the man. I saw you humiliate an employee who wanted to go to his son's birthday. I saw you use your power to crew. SH people. Bernard said nothing, just stared at the floor. And Melissa. Richard looked at his daughter. His voice cracked. My daughter. My blood. I saw you make an employee pick up papers with her mouth. Like a dog. Dad, I can explain. Can you? Richard stepped off the stage. Went to her. Explain to me how you turned into a monster. Explain how the girl I raised, who had everything, who never went hungry, who never suffered, takes pleasure in humiliating those who can't fight back. Melissa was crying, but it was tears of anger, not remorse. I learned from you, she shouted back. You always said business is war, that the weak don't survive, that compassion is weakness. I was wrong. The shout echoed. Richard wiped his eyes. I was wrong. I built this company on fear, on coldness, on treating people like numbers. He looked at Mary. And do you know who showed me that? He went to her, extended a hand, helped her to the stage. This woman, Mary Gonzalez, janitor, earns minimum wage, raises 3 kids alone, works double shifts. His voice choked. She was the only person in this entire corporation who saw me as human. Mary was trembling. When I was out there, dirty, stinking, everyone avoided me, humiliated me, cursed me, threw water on me. He looked at her. Mary gave me food, shared her lunch, gave me coffee, gave me $3 she could barely spare, gave me hope. Tears streamed down his face. She who earned so little gave so much. You who earned so much gave nothing. Just cruelty. The audience was utterly silent. So I'm making changes. Starting now. Richard squared his shoulders. Melissa, you're fired. And disinherited. What? You're no longer an executive. No longer an heir. You won't get another dime from me. Dad, you can't. I can and I am. He pointed. Get out of my company. Now. Bernard stood. Mr. Richard, let's calm down. You too, Bernard. Fired. But. Fired. Security, escort them out. Melissa screamed. Flailed. Bernard tried to negotiate. They were dragged away. Richard continued. Vivian, fired for cause. And I'll sue for defamation against Mary. Clyde, Maurice, fired for assault. Patricia, fired. Frank, fired. One by one, he called names. 9 people total. And now, he turned to Mary. Mary Gonzalez, will you accept the position of Director of Organizational Culture and Employee Well-Being at Anderson Industries? Mary blinked. W what? Director. Salary of $45,000 a month. Premium health insurance for you and your kids. Company car. And full college scholarships for your 3 children at the best private schools in the city. Mr. Richard, I can barely write properly. He smiled. For the first time in days, a genuine smile. You know what's most important, Mary. You see people. You treat folks with dignity. You know compassion. He took her hand. The rest I'll teach you. Do you accept? Mary couldn't speak. She just cried and nodded yes. The auditorium erupted in applause. If you discovered you'd built an empire on others' suffering, would you have the courage to tear it down and start over right? Even if it meant losing the people you love? The following days were chaos. Melissa hired lawyers, tried to sue Richard for arbitrary dismissal. The media grabbed the story. It became national headlines. Billionaire disguises as homeless man and uncovers toxic culture in his own company. TV shows wanted interviews. Social media buzzed. Half defended Richard, half criticized him. He publicly humiliated his own daughter. He served justice. He's a hypocrite. He created the toxic culture and now plays hero. He had the guts to change. Richard ignored it all. He had work to do. Mary was terrified. First week as director. Huge office. Secretary. Computer she barely knew how to use. Mr. Richard, I don't know what to do. She was shaking in their first meeting. I have no training. No education. Mary, breathe. He sat beside her, not behind the desk. You'll get help. We'll hire consultants. I'll get you training, courses, mentoring. He took her hand. But do you know what you have that no one here does? What? Humanity. Real empathy. He opened a folder. I want you to redesign our culture. Find out what employees need. What hurts them. What would help. How do I do that? Talk to them. You're good at it. Go to the floors, sit at desks, ask. Listen. He smiled. Do for them what you did for me. See them. Mary started slow, shy, but she discovered something. People trusted her. Because she'd come from the bottom. Because she understood. First, she visited the night shift. Her old colleagues. Mary, you became director. Mrs. Concepcion hugged her. So proud. Concepcion, I need your help. Mary sat with them in the break room. Tell me, what do you need? What would make your lives better? The women exchanged glances. Mary, we can speak freely? One, Nina, asked. No backlash. You can. I swear. So they poured out their hearts. The pay doesn't cut it. We make $1,100 a month. Rent's $700. How do we survive? We get 30 minutes for lunch. Barely time to eat. Over by a minute, and it's docked. No on-site daycare. We pay nannies. Half our check goes to that. The cleaning chemicals are cheap junk. We breathe bad fumes every day. Some girls have lung issues. Supervisors yell. Treat us like idiots. Mary took notes, page after page. She did the same with other departments. Customer service. IT, accounting, sales. Complaints varied, but the pattern was the same. Impossible quotas, brutal pressure, constant fear. An IT analyst, Carl, 26, told her while crying, "My boss said if I don't finish the project, I'm out. But it's impossible in the timeline. Physically impossible." He shook. "I work 14 hours a day. Don't see my wife. Don't see my kid. And I'm still called incompetent." Mary hugged him. "This changes. I promise." She brought it all to Richard. 50 pages of reports. "It's worse than I imagined." He read, growing more shocked. "How did I let it get this bad?" "Mr. Richard, it's not just on you," Mary said gently. "You surrounded yourself with the wrong people, folks who filtered the truth. And now we fix it." They assembled a team. Richard brought in organizational culture consultants, psychologists, human-centered HR experts. Mary led it all. First, change pay. Everyone earning up to 3 times minimum wage gets a 40% raise. Richard announced. The accountants freaked. "Mr. Richard, that'll cost millions." "Don't care. Do it." Second, change hours. 8-hour days. No more. Overtime at double pay. And no one is forced to do it. Third, change benefits. Full health insurance for everyone. No exceptions. Janitors get the same plan as executives. On-site daycare. Free. For kids up to 6. Meal vouchers up 60%. Fourth, change quotas. All targets reviewed by teams including the doers, not just managers. Fifth, change culture. Any manager or supervisor who humiliates an employee is fired. On the spot. No second chances. The changes were radical, expensive, risky. Shareholders raged. "Richard, you'll bankrupt us." "No, I'll make us worth it." But not all was victory. Melissa didn't quit. She leaked info to the press, twisted facts, painted Richard as insane. "My dad's having a mental breakdown. He fired everyone and promoted an illiterate janitor." The attacks were vicious. Mary suffered, got hate messages. People called her opportunist, grifter. One day, she entered Richard's office crying. "I can't take it anymore. People hate me. Say I don't deserve the job. Say I'm dumb." She sobbed. "And I am. I don't know anything. No college. Stop." Richard sat her down. "Mary, you saved this company. You brought humanity to a place that was hell. But the people, the critics are like Melissa. They think degrees beat character." He held her hands. "But know who agrees with me? The employees. They love you. You walk the halls and they smile. They trust you." "Really?" "Yeah. Look at this." He showed his phone. It was a TikTok video. Mrs. Concepcion had filmed it. "Folks, you see the news about Mary? They're trashing her, saying she doesn't deserve director. But I've worked with Mary 10 years. This woman's smarter than a lot of MBA execs. She gets people. She cares. And since she took over, this place changed. For real. My pay went up. I have health insurance. My grandkids in the free daycare. All because of her. So haters can sit and cry. Mary's staying and making this company better." The video had 2 million views, 20,000 supportive comments. Mary cried again, but this time relief. 3 months later, Bernard returned. Tried talking to Richard. "Mr. Richard, I want to apologize." "Not accepted. Please. I screwed up. I know, but I learned. I changed." "Changed?" Richard eyed him. "You treat people well now because cruelty has consequences, not because you believe it's right." Bernard hung his head. "Get out, and stay out." Melissa was last. 6 months after being cut off, she showed up. Thin, worn, no arrogant glow. "Dad." Richard was in the employee cafeteria, lunching with Mary and some staff. He stood. "What do you want?" "To talk. Please." They went to his office. I ruined everything." Melissa cried. "Lost you. Lost my job. Lost Bernard." He dumped me when the money dried up. And you're here expecting what? Pity? No. To ask forgiveness. She knelt. Dad, I was a monster. Treated people like trash. I hate myself for it. Richard looked at her. The daughter he'd raised. Loved. Disappointed. Is this guilt or just regret for the fallout? Melissa took a deep breath. Both. I feel guilty for what I did. And yeah, I'm paying for it. Lost everything. She wiped her eyes. But for the first time, Dad, I get it. I worked a place where I was treated like I treated others. It's awful. Destructive. And I did that to dozens of people. What do you want? Not my job back. Not inheritance. Just a chance to prove I can change. Richard was silent. You'll do therapy. Volunteer at a shelter. Learn to serve, not command. He crossed his arms. Do it for a year. No complaints. No expectations. And maybe, just maybe, we rebuild something. Melissa nodded. Thank you, Dad. She left. Richard wasn't sure she'd truly change. But at least he gave her what he'd never given employees before. A chance. Are there mistakes too big to forgive? And if someone you love destroyed you but then repented, would you have the strength for a second chance? 2 years later, Anderson Industries was unrecognizable. Turnover, once 85% a year, dropped to 12%. Productivity rose 40%. The company hit 3 national best places to work lists. Most important, people smiled. Richard walked the halls and saw chats, laughter, teamwork. Not the tense silence of before. The daycare was always full. Kids playing while parents worked in peace. The cafeteria served real food. Mrs. Concepcion, promoted to supervisor, crafted a solid menu. Fair wages let people live, not just scrape by. Mary blossomed beyond expectations. She took intensive courses, learned Excel, PowerPoint, people management, earned an executive MBA on a scholarship Richard funded. But most important, she never lost her core. She still visited North the Street. Mary, Vivian looked down. I'm sorry for what I did. Mary looked at her, the woman who'd tried to ruin her, who lied, who framed. I forgive you, Vivian. What? I forgive you. Holding anger only hurts me. Mary pulled a card from her pocket. If you need help, call. For real. Vivian cried right there on the sidewalk. Clyde, the guard who'd thrown water on Richard, never recovered either. Bounced through 3 jobs in 2 years. Fired from all for aggression. Lost his house, wife, kids. Ended up homeless, ironically. One day, begging at a corner, he saw Richard drive by. Hid his face in shame. Richard stopped. Backed up. Clyde. The man broke down crying. Mr. Richard, forgive me. Forgive me for what I did. Richard was quiet, then pulled out his wallet, handed some bills, and a card. This is a shelter address. They give food, showers, beds. And this, he gave another card, is a company that hires folks in reentry programs. Say I referred you. Clyde stared, stunned. Why? Why are you doing this? Because someone taught me everyone deserves to be seen as human. Richard started to leave, then paused. But Clyde? Learn. Change. Don't waste this shot. Melissa kept her word. Therapy 3 times a week. Volunteered at a homeless shelter. Served meals. Changed sheets. Listened to stories. First, it was tough. She looked at those people and saw Mr. Anthony. Saw the man she'd ignored. Met Margaret, 52. Former executive. Lost it all after divorce and depression. I was like you, Margaret told Melissa. Thought poor people were lesser. That I was better. Then I lost everything and learned. The line between me and them was just luck. Just circumstance. The words stuck. Slowly, she changed. For real. At the end of year 1, Richard visited the shelter. How's it going? Hard. Humiliating sometimes. But necessary. Melissa wiped her hands on her apron. Dad, I don't want to come back to the company. Don't want inheritance. I want To stay here. What do you mean? Work with this. With marginalized folks. Use what I know, management admin, to help nonprofits. She met his eyes. I want to do it different. Richard smiled. For the first time in years, he saw the daughter he'd raised. The one with heart. I'm proud of you. The tradition stuck. Every last Friday of the month, Richard lunched with base-level staff. Not in the exec cafeteria. In the regular one. At normal tables. Sometimes even on the floor when it was packed. He listened. Learned. Fixed what needed fixing. One day, a young intern, Philip, 20, asked, Mr. Richard, is it true you disguised as a homeless man? Yes. Why? Richard looked around. Saw Mary chatting with Mrs. Concepcion. Saw Pedro working on a computer. Saw employees laughing, relaxed. Because I needed to see what I'd become. Needed to feel what I let others feel. He looked at the kid. And because there was one person who showed me humanity has no price. No hierarchy. Doesn't depend on your salary or job. Who? Richard pointed to Mary. That woman. She shared her lunch with me when she thought I was nobody. Gave me dignity when everyone denied it. He smiled. She saved me. And in saving me, saved this whole company. Final scene. Night. Richard alone in his office. Staring out the floor-to-ceiling window. The city below lit up. A knock. Come in. It was Mary. Mr. Richard, it's late. You should head home. I know. Just thinking. About what? How I almost lost everything by not seeing what mattered. He turned to her. Mary, thank you. For what? For saving me. For showing me there's still hope. Mary smiled. That tired but genuine smile. Mr. Richard, who saved who? You changed my life. My kids. So many here. Because you taught me. They stood in silence. 2 years ago on a sidewalk. A millionaire in disguise. A poor janitor. Strangers. Now family. You know what my mom used to say? Mary asked. That we always find who we need to find. At the right time. In the right way. She touched his shoulder. I found you. You found me. And God used it to fix a lot of wrongs. Richard nodded. Go home, Mary. Your kids are waiting. You too. Get some rest. She left. Richard lingered a few minutes. Then grabbed his jacket, turned off the light. On the way to the parking garage, he passed the cafeteria. Empty now, but still smelled of food, of life, of humanity. Past the daycare. Quiet. But tomorrow it'd ring with laughter. Past the halls. Walls lined with photos. Smiling employees. Families. Kids. This was his company now. Not perfect, but human. Not cruel, but fair. Not an empire of fear, but a community of dignity. And all because a poor woman, with everything to lose and nothing to gain, chose to share her lunch with a stranger. Richard smiled. Tomorrow was another day. More challenges. More changes. But he wasn't alone. He had Mary. Had the employees. Had a company that finally had a soul. He got in the car. Gerald drove. Home, Mr. Richard? Home, Gerald. As the car glided through the night, Richard looked out the window and thought, who'd have thought a millionaire would need to pretend to be homeless to learn how to be human? But it was worth it. Every second was worth it. Epilogue, 5 years later. Mary was invited to speak at the biggest HR conference in North America. She, who 5 years ago could barely write, now took the stage before 5,000 people. My name is Mary Gonzalez. 5 years ago, I was a janitor, earned minimum wage, raised 3 kids alone. She took a breath. Today, I'm director at one of the country's largest tech firms. But I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about the man who changed everything. The screen behind her showed that photo. Her and Richard on the sidewalk, sharing lunch. This man is Richard Anderson. 5 years ago, he disguised himself as a homeless man to see how his company really ran. She looked at the audience. And what he found nearly broke him. He discovered he'd built a hell. People suffering. Cruelty the norm. She clicked. Another image. Richard now, surrounded by smiling employees. But he had the courage to change. Fired his own daughter. Lost friends. Risked it all. She smiled. Because he learned one thing. Profits without humanity mean nothing. Today, Anderson Industries is a benchmark. Not because T's perfect. Because it tries. Because it puts people first. She paused. I don't know how much time you have. Maybe years. Maybe decades. But one thing I know. One day you'll look back and ask, what mark did I leave? She wiped a tear. I hope your mark is kindness, dignity, humanity. The crowd rose, deafening applause. Richard was there, front row, applauding too. Mary came down. They hugged. You were amazing, he said. Learned from the best. And you? If it was your last day on earth, what would you want said about you? Successful or human? That you amassed wealth or shared dignity? In the end, what matters? The size of your bank account or the size of your heart?